I'm going to be putting together a Kangook KX-1 Komfort trike, a paragliding trike, because I don't see any other videos that do this, so I figured I should just kind of show you how it's done, because the instructions come in French in the form of a diagram. There's not like a formal instruction set, so I figured I'd show you in a video how this is done. Now I'm using these hex wrenches, I think. I forget what they call them. There's another term for them. I believe that this may be metric. I'm not really sure. To begin, I definitely am using 10 and 6. Maybe that's millimeters. And then also I've got metric wrenches, and I'm starting out with 13 just to begin. Well, I've unboxed everything except for the motor. I don't even have the chassis for the motor yet. But I have everything for the trike here, and it's all unpacked and unwrapped, and now I'm putting it together. Now, so far, I've only put together one wheel on this. Now, you'll notice that the wheel, when you actually pull this up properly, it's actually oriented straight up. It's not at an angle, okay? That's because this bar here, as you see, it goes down at an angle. However, the actual axles are at an angle. So you want to make sure that when you mount this, you mount it upwards, and that should correct for the downward angle that's there by default. Yeah, you don't want it to go further down, you want it to go up. As you can see, there's two diagrams here, and they're both, there's basically from the rear, view the rear, and then view avant, which is the front view, and they're all labeled in French. But that's fine. We can get by just trying to look at the pictures and put things together. Now, what's really great is that Kangook does make sure that most of the hardware that they can loosely put into the hardware, most of the bolts and nuts and stuff, they're put in so you know exactly how they go, so you don't have to refer to the instructions so much, even though it does include that hardware. So the first step here is for us to put the other tire, which I have right here, into this. And so what we'll need to do, try to make sure that's focusing right. What we'll need to do is basically just take this off. Now there's 3 washers, and take note, there's 2 washers closer and one on the outer. And then there's this bar right here that goes into the wheel. Now keep in mind, you don't need to remove this hardware here. If anything, you can just tighten that. I don't know of any reason for that to come off, unless you're replacing the piece. But this is the hardware that needs to be removed. Okay, and also another note is you'll want to make sure to take note of which side of the tires that the air pressure valve is on, so that you're actually mounting that facing outwards. Okay, so now I'm going to take my number 10 Allen wrench. I remember the name now. And as you can see, this actually mounts in here at an angle, you'll notice. And you basically just need to hold it and tighten this bolt on the outside with the Allen wrench. Next up, you just simply take this little pin out right here, like so. And then you'll want to make sure to kind of look to see what angle it's going to be at. You probably want the angle to be up, not down. It's kind of ambiguous. There we go. That's right. It looks like it's straight up now, even when this is up at a bit of an angle. So as you can see, the bar goes up into the frame, but then the wheel is not at an angle. It's actually straight up. So from what I can see here, the next piece I'm going to install is this pole right here, which has this series of bolts here in here. So that's what I'm going to connect first. This is the piece that we're going to be connecting. And if you look, the washers are on the outside here. That's exactly how we're going to connect it to the frame here, like so. Okay, so the next logical step seems to be to connect these 2 bars here to create like a V shape. Shown in here in the diagram, you can see it's right here with the V. So that's what I'm going to be connecting next. Have the wheels are on and the V's there. So on to the next step. I look here, I can see that this the actual brake here, because I've got the disc brakes or drum brakes, what do you call them? Yeah, disc brakes. That needs to be facing on this side, the left side, you know. And then this is the bolt, obviously, at the top. And I think, yeah, that's number 10. So far I've been using 10 and 6 mostly with the Allen wrench. So I'll be attaching this wheel by unattaching this and connecting it to that somehow. And before I take this apart, I just want to note the configuration. You've got the bolt with the washer on top. You've got this little two black washers in between, and then you've got a washer and the nut at the bottom. So the two plastic washers that come with it make a lot more sense when you see that that's basically the point of contact between the frame and this wheel chassis. So make sure to put these in between on the top and the bottom. Here it is connected mostly, but I realize that even my 16 millimeter wrench does not fit this bolt here. Now, obviously, I don't have to have one that matches it. Maybe I need some vice grips. I think that's what I'm just going to use. As a correction, I'm going to be using this adjustable wrench. I will admit that you do want to be careful that when you're using that adjustable wrench that you don't strip it. Make sure it doesn't move. Also, it's a good idea probably to make it so that it's not so tight that it locks down on those, because you might need to adjust them sometimes. So put it on there tight enough. I don't want to strip it, so I think that's good enough for me. I just want to make a note here that you'll want to make sure to leave these bolts all kind of loose, because as you're putting other parts on that might need it to shift left or right, or forward or backwards, you might need a little bit give. So it's best just to go ahead and leave things a bit loose as you're continuing here until everything is connected. Okay, so the next piece that I'm going to connect is the one at the top shown right here. My understanding from what I've seen in the past is it's basically the piece that the motor is mounted or locked to. These two pieces here are actually facing downward. You can see that in the photo right here. You can see that it's facing back and they're going down, and the actual piece right here makes it adjustable. So the idea is that it would connect here. It would connect right here, and it would connect there and be able to adjust down or up to kind of lock onto the motor that's mounting on the back of the trike. Okay, here we go. And not to insult anyone's intelligence, but I just want to note that the black washers need to go on the inside so that, you know, this can actually adjust and move smoothly when you're trying to mount it. So I just basically hand tighten these just a little bit just to kind of keep them from jingling, but that's good for now. Okay, the next step for me is I'm going to connect this little U piece here, or cent piece. Okay, now something that I was confused about here was that in the photo it seems to imply that the actual piece needs to be mounted right behind where these two poles on the frame are welded to the frame here. And so the bolt would go through here, and then this would of course go up there and connect behind that. That makes sense if you have a tandem set up with extended bars, but I found that this bolt right here would not go through this hole all that well, even though it's there. I noticed that here it was actually drilled out to be a lot easier to stick this bolt through. And before I did this, I actually called and spoke with Bryant of Kangook, and he told me that these two bars here are the correct bars. There's not 4. I looked at this layout here and it didn't make much sense, but now that I actually loosely connect that there, I can see that this bar will go perfectly fine through this little piece right here. these rubber pieces right here on each end, those go into this tube that is mounted near the front of the trike. However, I just realized that these holes right here, if I was to try to mount this so that the holes line up properly, the bar would be way over there. So it turns out that these are actually drilled for left and right. So make sure that you try to mount those appropriately. And I just want to make a note that it's actually it's harder to mount these rubber pieces in here than it is to like connect this up here. So I would recommend doing the mounting to this U shape down here first before mounting these to the V shape at the top up here. Okay, now something I've forgotten is I need to actually put these bars through these this front ring for the front, and also this slightly curved bar for the rear, which is supposed to go up here. And I can't do that as long as the bars are connected, so I'll need to... Okay, so I need to adjust these a little bit by opening them up, and that will require a number 4 Allen wrench. Okay, so now that I've loosened these up a bit using the number 4 Allen wrench, you can see I've put the front hoop on. It's just loosely on there, and I'll just push that forward in a second here. So before I connect this into the V shape here, I'll need to make sure to put this other loop on here too. Before you actually put this rear bar on, which the back of the harness mounts to, you'll need to make sure to put this hardware on as needed. You really need 2 rings for each side. The front one holds the front of the harness from slipping forward further, and then the other ring actually is used for the mounting straps that mount to your actual paraglider wing. You can see in this photo that the front straps of the harness have red connecting tips that hang from another set of straps, both connected via a carabiner. You'll be mounting one silver ring just behind the orange roll bar on each side for the purpose of keeping your seat harness straps from going further forward down the bars. Right behind that, you'll mount the other 2 silver rings to hold the straps in place, which your paraglider wing connects to via another set of carabiners. Here's another photo from a different angle so you can get the gist. I got the wrong impression that the bars need to go through the straps provided. This is wrong. None of the straps need to be mounted in a manner which requires you to disassemble the trike to remove them. They are actually meant to be wrapped around the bars. I'll show you how to do this. You'll want to put one of these clamps kind of near the beginning of this bend here. Okay, so on the back of this harness, there's actually these spandex coverings that you can actually just pull down and remove, and you'll see that you've got like a little buckle here, and if you actually just push this through and angle it the right way, you can get it out. So it's secured by your own weight, so it won't come out while you're up in the air, but you definitely will have to maneuver it a little bit to actually get it out. It's definitely not easy, but it's not too hard. And in fact, you're not going to stick these loops through this bar. You're actually going to be looping it through itself to create a loop around this bar. So, okay. So I've secured these a bit, just just tight enough. By the way, I asked if we need to use a torque wrench to tighten things, and just by hand is good enough, just good and snug. Don't overdo it. You don't want to break or, mangle your own hardware, but, just enough. So you'll probably end up moving this later when you do a hang test, but just kind of, set it about here and go ahead and, tighten these up a bit. It turns out that you actually will not be taking any hardware and sticking it through like this, where it would require disassembling your trike later to connect it. As it turns out, instead, what you're going to do is, I'm going to show you now. So, for the front hang points, which are going to be connected to these red straps in the harness. Oop. What we'll actually be doing is sticking one end through the other, like so, and then pulling down on the other end, which I'll do in a second here to show you how it looks after I give it a little bit of a tug. So as you've seen, I've just kind of stuck it through itself, and that makes it possible to remove this without having to take it apart, even though it is apart right now. But when you're out in the field, if you need to take this off and take your harness inside so it doesn't mold and mildew, this is how you'll do it, is you'll have to just take the carabiner off and then just remove it from itself. So as you can see, I've pulled it through, and I've decided to make it so this little, kind of like a tie when you're putting on a tie, I've made it so that that's sticking through around this side rather than around the opposite side. So there you have it. There's the front one, and now I'll show you how to do the other one, which is actually going to go around this, like so. So there's two ends here. There's the very, very hard end, which is going to be the main support for the paraglider sticking up. You want this sticking up. So what you'll want to do is wrap it around like so and stick this side through the other hoop. So okay, so as you can see here, I've moved it through most of the way. I'll just need to put a little bit more weight on it. Yeah, as you can see, that's going to be a very, very secure hang point. I've pulled it out a little bit more, and so here you can see it's a little bit more snug and a little bit more secure. So there you go. But I'm actually going to put this back strap that's from the harness here. I'm actually going to try to put it around here. So I've moved the buckle near the end here, as well as this spandex thing, as well as this little kind of like securing strap, so that we've just got the basic pigtail loop in the end here. And what I'm going to do is stick that loop through, like up like that, and stick this in that loop. It's actually quite easy with just one hand here, so if you can imagine two hands, and then kind of feed it through so that, again, that nice little tie is going to show here. Now, I might need to take some of this excess strap out of here just to get out of the way. And there we go. We've got the pigtail loop there, and it's going to be kind of secured by this here. So there we go. Now you can put that into the harness, and there you go. There we go. There's our hang point right there. You'll want to stick them one loop through the other like so. Until you get like enough of a loop to stick the carabiner through. Once you stick the carabiner through, you can just pull on it, and there you go. And in fact, I actually take the end that has the APCO aviation logo, and I'm the one that I stick that one through the other loop, so that when it's just done, this tag is facing down, and it advertises APCO because I guess they're really good. They're gonna keep you safe. Now, the last two pieces that I've waited to do are these two bars right here and right here. And so I've got the hardware and the two bars here. And as you can see, it should connect from here all the way up to here on the frame, and just the same here to down there. Now, to put these on, I actually had to kind of loosen this here. I had to loosen this a bit here, just the same here, and even down here I had to loosen these up because we needed a little bit of give in these arms right here. So now that they're on there, I'm going to tighten everything up And I've got no more hardware. I must be done. I'll hang up the seat and then we'll be done.